Donald Trump is gangster. One thing we can never say is that our president is scary. I ain't want to speak on too many politics, but our president is about that life. That man is the white version of 50 Cent. No, for real. Like, this man is straight. Turned all the lights off, bombed that mug, snatched the president, put his butt in a Nike Tech, and dropped him in New York.
I see like 3, 4 running through the crib, all black, mask on, running through the crib and shit. Run to the front door. I hop out, I start shooting. Bow, 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 bow. Shot the bow, shot his ass. Bow, 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 bow. All the run out the door, they run out the door on the floor.
But you got to give it to that gangster. That got on the thing and said about the president that got killed in Iran. He said, that basically said, I simply got him before he got me. That nigga gangster, bro. You might not like it. I don't like him either, but that nigga gangster. That is.
President Trump is acting like an international gangster.
This exact same fit, I made a video about this man, and now the mission is over. Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. At what point are y'all gonna give this man credit? I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again. I'm not a Trumpy, but I respect that man's gangster. Whenever McDonald Trump says we finna do something, I'm gonna be honest with you, there is every part of my body that believes that he's gonna do exactly what he said he's gonna do. Like when it comes to foreign affairs, when it comes to handling business overseas, what on his track record shows me that he's not gonna do exactly what he says he's gonna do? Talking about, yo, it was daytime when I made that video, and now it's nighttime, and the mission is over. Like, you can't hate on the efficiency.
This is probably gonna be an unpopular opinion to a lot of people, but I would rather have a president who takes action and does what he says he's gonna do than a president who sits around and just signs executive orders all day. Love him or hate him, he does what he says he's gonna do. He protects the American people. God bless America. And he's out here getting shit done, love him or hate him. I don't want a president who sits behind his desk all day. Okay. I just don't. Give me the American gangster president we got going on right now. He's getting shit done.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I agree with it, right? I would rather have a president that means what he says and says what he means and gets stuff done than a person who cowers and just does a bunch of lip bumping for no darn reason. Now, I want to touch on something that I find quite interesting and hypocritical. And it is the crew, or the squad, excuse me. In particular, AOC is who I'm going to highlight in this video here today. I'm going to play a couple of clips from her, and then I'm going to show you guys something else. Check it out.
And I actually think that it is one reason that he must be removed from office, because if the Epstein files has such a hold on President Trump and this administration that they are willing to plunge us and risk world war in order to save themselves politically, that is a person, the definition of someone that cannot make objective decisions for the American people.
So now she's going with the tagline that the only reason why this whole Iran situation started is because of the Epstein list. And she didn't say it only once. She's repeated this line.
This administration, the Trump administration, Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Pam Bondi, are engaged in one of the greatest cover-ups that we have seen when it comes to Jeffrey Epstein and protection of people that are in power and close to power. It is horrifying. My thoughts are with the victims, but what I am encouraged by is the House Oversight Committee's continued pursuit in their subpoenas against Lex Wexner.
See what I'm saying? I find it quite interesting how she says that, but Democrats had these same files for 4 years, and nobody, including herself, ever bothered to hoop, to holler, anything about releasing them. And if Trump was in the files, they would have released it. Otherwise, you're admitting that the Biden and Kamala Harris administration was the dumbest administration in U.S. history. The dumbest. Because you mean to tell me they threw everything at this man? I mean, they had him in courtroom after courtroom after courtroom. They changed the statute of limitations and everything. You mean to tell me they stopped that pedo? That's where the Biden administration said, no, we can't go that far. Really? Stop it. Stop it with the nonsense. The fact is, there is no evidence of Trump being in or doing anything nefarious in the files, right? That's why it was never released. And that's why Democrats never cared to say anything about it. But now all of a sudden that they feel like they can, rile their base up and rile the American citizens up on these files, now they're going to start repeating all of this nonsense. Meanwhile, they had the same files for 4 years. I want to keep repeating that because I don't think it registers to some folks around here. Democrats had these same files for 4 years and did nothing. Nothing. So while they're trying to, Trump and his administration, they're trying to cover up bullshit. Y'all had the same files. Where was all the hooting and hollering then? And you know what's even worse about this whole AOC situation? I want to play this clip from a guy that I actually like in Congress by the name of Tim Burchett. I believe he's from the great state of Tennessee, if I remember correctly. Shout out to Tennessee. But this is the good brother Tim Burchett. Because there was recently a vote on something that was very important that, AOC happened to vote no on. Check it out.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. The House just did the most disgusting thing I've ever seen. We just voted to cover up sexual harassment of employees by members, if you can believe that. I got the sponsor right here with me, got Bobert. Y'all tell him what happened.
It's shameful. They voted against my resolution that would reveal members of Congress who sexually harass employees on the Hill, women on the Hill, in the campaigns, lobbyists, etc. Shameful. So I don't want to hear.
They sent it to the ethics committee. So a bunch of congressmen are going to investigate
so
themselves.
Let it go get hidden, right?
Yeah, this is exactly where bills go to die. So her privileged resolution is being sent to the ethics committee for members of Congress to investigate themselves. And remember, this is your tax dollars that were used
They're
in
hiding
this hush
They're
money.
hiding it.
Yes,
How many millions? How many millions are in that thing? They said there's millions that have been paid out.
Some years there's like 4 or 5 million that went to a slush fund that paid for members of Congress with your tax dollars to allow them to go sexually harass people on the Hill. And then the second thing is I want to say is I don't want to hear another word about Epstein or Epstein victims by a single person, Republican or Democrat, that voted against revealing sexual harassment on the Hill.
Let's get that list. How many people? 49 of us voted to make it public, right?
Yep, to actually have transparency.
49 or 50,
and this is the crap that we see up here all the time. 10%. We are actually standing for victims.
Okay,
and we just saw with Tony Gonzalez, his staffer, who killed herself, lit herself on fire. The worst way to die. And this was part of the same fund that is being covered up. Did he pay her? Maybe she never got a check, but she doesn't have a life anymore.
You'll never know. Anyway, we need transparency. Thank y'all for saying.
Yeah, so as you guys heard there is a slush fund for members of Congress to pay off any sexual harassment allegations or anything like that they can all divvy out to different individuals. And Tony Gonzalez, I believe that's his name, running in Texas. My eye is like really tripping today. It's watering like crazy. So excuse me if you see me keep rubbing my eye. Tony Gonzalez, I believe that's his name. He recently dropped out of the race, so Herrera actually is going to become the Republican nominee, which it was going to move on to a runoff because neither one of them got 50%, but now that Gonzalez has dropped out because of this whole situation, which I haven't deep dived into that whole situation, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. But from what I know is there were some allegations that him and a staffer had a relationship, and the husband of the staffer found out and exposed it. And, she unfortunately put herself 6 feet in the dirt. Like I said, I don't know too many details, so I'm not going to get too deep into it. But that's the gist of it. And so now he's dropped out. And now we'll never know if he actually paid her to try to be quiet or who's doing it. But you know what is funny about this? It actually was more than 40. I believe it was 65 members actually voted to release the names, right? AOC was not one of them. So she's crying about the Epstein files, but she votes no to expose the current members in Congress who are using this slush fund to pay people off from sexual harassment allegations and accusations. How does that make any type of sense? How does that make any sense? I need the Epstein files, but I'm not going to expose members of Congress that have sexually harassed, folks. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to expose them. Really? Why not? Why not? You care so much, right? You care so much about the women, right? It's all a game, guys. It is all a game. And when Democrats feel that they can have the upper hand, like they feel like they do now, with screaming about these Epstein files, that's all they're going to do, because none of them were screaming about the Epstein files. And you guys can attest to this. You don't have to take my word for it. You guys were here 4 years ago as well, right? All through Biden's administration. None of them, and I mean none of them, said anything about the Epstein files when Biden and Kamala Harris had the same files. Not a single word. Not a one. But now all of a sudden the Epstein files are like the most important thing ever. And don't get me wrong, the Epstein files should be exposed. And the people who did these horrible things should be put not in jail, but under the jail. Let's make that clear as well, before anybody tries to twist my words. But what I am also saying is that this whole, going in front of the cameras and we got to get the Epstein files out, it's fake. It's fake. They don't really care that much. To be quite honest, I don't think they care at all. They don't care at all. As a matter of fact, yeah, that's what I'm going to say. And the proof is in the pudding. They said nothing when the Biden and Kamala Harris administration had the same files. They said nothing. They don't care. All they care about is winning politically. That is it. That is it. They don't give a damn about those files. They don't give a damn about the people who are in the files. They don't care. It's fake. All of these, senators and congressmen that are hooting and hollering about the files now, they're all frauds. They're all frauds. Because none of them were doing it 4 years ago. It's not like Epstein just died when Trump came in office and that's when the files came about. Like, the files have been a thing for quite a long time now. I don't know, man. I just find it super disingenuous, and I had to expose it, of course, because that's what we do here. But y'all stay safe out there. Peace and love. I'm out.